Simply Tammy.
It's a blessing that I'm here, I'm alive. No, I never ever have to cry, cause it's something I know will always work for me on my side. Not a thing I even have to fight, All things work together for my good. Life speaks if you listen, it might be sound. Watch the love come alive. Sharing the truth that inspires. Sharing the truth that inspires. Sharing the truth that inspires. All things work together for my good. Life speaks if you listen. It might be sound. Watch the joy come alive. Watch the joy. Sharing the truth that inspires.
Inspired to love, inspired to grow, inspired to heal, inspired to live. Simply Tammy.
Hey guys, I like to extract lessons from everyday moments. So this is one that I've been sitting with for a little while and finally decided to share. So it's been maybe about 2 months ago, if that long. I was in Publix. I like to catch their coffee pods when they have them on sale. They tend to have great sales on coffee pods, typically a buy one get one free, or something really reduced. So I'll choose what I want to buy, typically when they have them on sale. So I was in there one day and I picked up a box of coffee pods that I wanted, and I was pretty sure it was a flavor that I had before. So I was certain that I wanted, and I was just kind of standing looking to see if I was going to get a second one because I'm pretty sure they were buy one, get one free. So a lady approaches me from the left and she sees what I have in my hand and she's like, I just returned that same box of coffee pies. I did not like it at all. So I'm standing there, I'm like, oh, okay. And so she continues to talk about, she was like, it was just the flavor. I don't know, it was too sweet. Her experience with this particular coffee. So I'm still standing there holding it. And, since she was very serious, I'm pretty sure her intention was to deter me from purchasing what I had in my hand. So I asked, I said, well, what kind of creamer did you use with it? Because, she had mentioned that she thought it was too sweet or that just the flavor wasn't good. So she told me what kind of creamer she used, which is a creamer that I'm not fond of, but okay. If you like the creamer and not the coffee, so be it. So, we continue and I'm still holding the coffee pies and, she's looking at them and at the other options and I'm looking. So she's like, what you're going to get? I'm like, well, pretty sure I'm going to get these. So well, have you had them before? Have you had this one before? And I said, I think I have. Because again, I was pretty sure that I'd had this flavor, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I ended up just kind of steering the conversation in another way because the particular brand that we were looking at has another flavor that I'm very fond of, but I haven't been able to find it in a store locally because when I had it, I was in another state. So just so happened she was familiar with that flavor because she was not originally from here. So I concluded it with, well, yeah, I'm going to get this one. And, if I happen to not like it, I'll leave the pods in the drawer for when people come over to visit. So that just made me think about how, because she was, her intention, which was a very good intention on her part, was to convince me that I wouldn't like what she didn't like. And being a person that cooks, I have said on many occasions that I think our taste buds are like our personality. They all are very different. Someone can love something that you don't like, and vice versa. But when I think about the larger lesson for me, as far as experiences, as I've been able to mentor young women over the years, one of the things that I've wanted to emphasize with them and tried to emphasize with them is when someone is sharing wisdom with you, you need that wisdom. So, especially from older generations or anyone that has had an experience that you have not yet had, the wisdom is necessary, but you don't need to be framed or bound by their experience. So, what I mean by that is, for example, you have people who've never traveled outside of their local area, so they may advise you to not travel. Well, you can't really advise a person to not do what you haven't done, or if they traveled to a particular place or had a particular experience. And travel is an example. It could be a company that they've worked for, it could be a person that they've interacted with. The simple lesson is that a person's experience is not guaranteed to be your same experience. Do you need the wisdom on how to navigate certain places and spaces? Absolutely. But you shouldn't take a person's bad experience, and I say that in quotes, and assume that your experience will also be bad because that's what they had. And what made me finally decide to go ahead and do this video today was I was watching a interview last night, and it was a Q&A session with on a podcast that I follow, and they were the podcast host was interviewing or doing a Q&A with a couple, and one of the statements that was brought up at the end by the wife was, you and I could date the same person and still not have dated the same person. And she brought this up because, while they were doing this interview, and it's been, I think, a year or so ago now that it actually aired, people were actually putting things in the comments that were familiar with the guy that she was about to marry, who I'm sure now they're already married since it's an older interview, about who he was and, things he had done in the past. And so her point was, and the host reiterated that sometimes when you interact with the person, what that interaction with you brings out of them could be totally different than what someone else experienced. Should you again take wisdom from someone who has valid wisdom to offer? Absolutely. But should you shy away from people, places, and things or experiences because of what someone else said? So I titled this video, "What Do You Choose?" And I put "you" in all caps because over time, I have found that as I've lived a little bit, the deciding factor in all of that is knowing who you are. And until you are comfortable in who you are, knowing who you are, which direction your life is heading, and even being willing to take a leap of faith when you're not fully comfortable with that, you will decide based off what other people want you to decide. You will go places based off where other people want you to go. You will frame your world and your experience based off of someone else's decision and not even be certain of your own. I lived much of my young adult life that way, um, in what I thought was supposed to be fully who I was, but very much framed based off of the environment that I was in. So I encourage you to choose you, know when, know why, um, to choose you, and again, take the wisdom, as wisdom would say, or older people would say, take the meat, spit out the bones, eat the fruit, spit out the seeds, however you've heard it. But take what you need, but don't be afraid to live on your own terms. All right, have a great one.